Hey, this is Super Dell. Okay, what do we got going for today? Today, I get this all the time. It's like people post on my videos and they're like, oh, like anybody can do that at sea level, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, this guy Eric Dufour is way better, man. He's the best instructor ever. This is kind of goofy. I mean, that's actually pretty common. There's this guy called Eric Dufour, and he's an instructor for the USPPA scam. Now, he's not just an instructor, he's their administrator passing off other instructors. This guy's passing off other instructors. And the fact is, I'm doing a video, Fruit Noodle. Okay, the fact is, this guy literally does not have the skill level of brand new super students. So I'm going to show in the videos, watch a video of this guy, Eric Dufour. Keep in mind, this guy is supposed to be an instructor administrator passing off other instructors. So watch the first video. I'm going to put it in the link so you can link right to their video. This is the video of him trying to kite on a trailer. So he's trying to kite and just control the altitude. Now, he's doing it all wrong. It is totally jacked up, which is why he loses control and he can't stay up there. He can't maintain control or position. And there's many things he's doing. For one, you can see his legs are spread. And as soon as you spread your legs, you're fighting the glider instead of balancing your body. So your feet should be together. Next thing he's doing is he's leaning over backwards, which you don't lean over backwards, because if you lean over backwards and you come off the trailer, or a gust hits you and you come off, or say you got drugged forwards and you had to jump, you have to prevent yourself from untwisting. And if you're leaning backwards, you're going to immediately untwist in the risers and it's going to throw you way off balance, which would be a horribly bad thing. Next, look in the video. This guy is straight controlling with the brake toggles. This is horribly wrong. You do not do this. Do not, what are you doing? Do not straight control with the brake toggles. So he's turned reverse and then he's straight controlling with the brake toggles. This is horrible. Never ever. Any super student knows this. We'll fix this really quick if you do this wrong at super training. But if you leave the ground and you have straight controlling the brake toggles, again, you cannot prevent yourself from untwisting. So if you start losing it and you have to jump off the trailer, you're immediately going to untwist and it's going to throw you off balance, totally jack you up. And then while he's on the trailer, he tries to switch to reverse cross controlling. Again, never ever kite up something reverse cross controlling, because now your brake lines are twisted and again you still have no ability to prevent yourself from untwisting. The correct way to kite up something is straight controlling to the brake lines. That way, if you come off backwards, you can actually pull one brake, push the other, and you're countering the cross in the risers because you're twisted. The main thing is if you come off, you have to prevent yourself from untwisting. And he's not doing that, so he just doesn't have the basic understanding of how to properly control the glider. Next, when you see him falling off the trailer because he doesn't have control, notice him flapping the brakes. He's jerking the brakes. Jerking the brakes causes you to lose lift. That's how you come down, not up. So he's literally doing it backwards to what's correct. It's not just wrong, it's literally backwards. So watch his video of him trying to kite on the trailer. Just watch the video. Look at what you see. That's a guy that they're calling an instructor administrator. And many people, if you ask around, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is the best instructor in the country. This is a very common, horrible thing. It's not about putting him down. It's about educating people, because if you go to someone who's acting as an instructor that literally doesn't have the basic skills, not just doesn't have them, but is literally teaching people wrong and backwards and doing things backwards, that is a catastrophic nightmare. Very, very dangerous. So then look in the link and I'll show you students, super students, brand new super students kiting up a trailer, doing it correctly. And these guys haven't even graduated from super training. You're talking about people with 5, 6, 7 days of experience in the sport. Literally, they never touched a glider. You can see clearly a completely different level of skill. Also notice they fly off of the trailer under perfect control without untwisting, fly down, make a perfect landing, beautiful control. Look at a USPPA scam. Now, why is USPPA a scam? Total scam. Well, a scam is something that promotes something that's fake or fraudulent, that's not accurate. This scam organization is promoting people as instructors and instructor administrators who don't have even the most basic skill. They literally can't do what brand new super students can do with 5, 6, 7 days of training. I mean, think about what I'm saying and the life and death critical importance to what I'm saying. This is not about bashing, because the liars are going to try and say, oh, he's bashing, he's just blah, blah, blah. It's not bashing. Do you not understand how this pertains to your life if you try and train with someone who does not have even the most basic understanding of skills, or a scam organization that is promoting people as instructors who literally have things wrong and backwards and don't understand basic comprehension of the sport? That is a nightmare. So you watch the video of this guy do it, you watch brand new super students do it. Now, another thing you'll hear people lie about all the time is they'll be like, oh, anybody can do that at the beach in laminar air. Let's see you try that, inland somewhere. No problem. The next video is my 12-year-old kiting on a fence in front of the house behind the trees in the desert mountains of Utah. Same thing. Skills are skills. Okay? If you learn to drive in Utah, it doesn't mean you don't know how to drive in Vermont. Skill is skill. It's applicable everywhere. The reason you train at the beach is because you can practice kiting all day because you have wind all day. There is no difference between wind in Utah and wind at the beach. When you got smooth air in Utah, you got smooth air at the beach, it's identical. The difference is you only get like 15 minutes here and there, maybe an hour in Utah on specific days if you're lucky, every 4th, 5th day of 8 Sundays. At the beach, you get that perfectly smooth air all day long so you can actually practice. That's another reason you can't train in Utah. I mean, there's a reason we drive 1,500 miles from Utah to Corpus Christi, Texas. And it's because you cannot train people properly in Utah because you simply cannot get enough hours. You can't train in Ohio. You can't train in Arizona. You cannot train inlet. It does not work. It's not because the wind is different. It's because of the amount of wind. I mean, you go to the specific beaches, you could tie a kite to your car and it just stays there all day. Okay, so you see the scam instructor, this guy's literally promoting other people or signing off other people as instructors. That's why it's a scam. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? Look, look at the skills. Look at the problems. Then look at my student doing it. Look at a 12-year-old kiting on a fence in Utah. Now, those are brand new students. Now let's take a look at the next video of a student who's come back through super training several times and has done it for a while. With super training, he's kiting up a pole, standing on top with one foot crossing his legs. I mean, that's a mastery level of skill. You cannot get a mastery level of real skills learning from a guy who literally doesn't even have the most basic skills himself. He can't even do it right, let alone teach it. Is this not a huge catastrophic nightmare of an issue? I mean, if you're not understanding why it's so important that I share information like this with you, aviation's probably not for you because you're probably not the sharpest person out there. And aviation is not for, the below average type of person. It's for people that are a little sharper, a little brighter, a little quicker, a little more logical than the average person. You have to use some logic. When people say do your research, it means look at the video of their skills. Compare their skills to the skill of super students. Okay, I'll also link a video of a whole bunch of different super students just demonstrating a lot of the most basic skills. Challenge people. Send that video out to other instructors and ask them to simply show you a video of themselves demonstrating that skill. Either they can or they can't. There's no argument about it. There's no maybe. There's no opinion. Either they have the skill or they don't have the skill. It should be that easy. So this is life and death critical. When you realize you've got people out there promoting themselves as certified, which is a total scam because there's no certifications. So anyone claiming to be the USPPA scam is totally made up by some Jimmy Bob who's never had a day of proper training in his life. Jeff Coyne is not the guy. He tried to kite up a trailer like that. He smashed through the window of an RV and ended up in the hospital trying to do what my brand new students you can see all over YouTube can do. That's the guy who also wrote the PPG Bible. Is written by a guy who tried to kite up an RV and got yanked over the top of it and smashed through the window of another RV and ended up in the hospital. It's not about putting them down. It's about warning you that this is messed up. People are putting out, oh, hey, you got to get this PPG Bible. Look at who wrote it. Look at the skill level and competency. You cannot go out and buy a book written by someone who doesn't understand the sport and doesn't care about the truth and doesn't have your best interest in mind. All they care about is selling books and putting stuff out. It's crazy. There's so many people on YouTube that just want to get views and don't care about accurate information. It's like the people you'll see bashing me and lying up. They hate me with a passion. Why? Because I share the truth. If I was saying something that wasn't true, they would just link a video. Yeah, this guy's lying. Here's the video. How easy would that be? If their students are better than my students, or if their instructors actually can do what my brand new students can do, wouldn't it be simple? They wouldn't have to bash, trash, lie, threaten to kill me, threaten to rape my children, and spread all these false rumors about me all over the place. They could just link a video and go, look, this guy's not telling the truth. Here's the skill of our students. Here's the skill of his students. Our students are better. Wouldn't that be so simple? Wouldn't it be nice if people focused on truth and compared equals for equals? So I have a video of what my students can do. You can see the video. That's what they can do on video. Compare that to others. Now, I also did a video showing the skill of my students directly side by side with the instructors at Aviator PPG. And they actually had in their training video all four of their instructors try and do a basic run and jump all side by side, which is basic as can be. At super training, you have to be able to do 10 in a row without a single loss of control, or we don't put you in the air. Their four instructors tried to do a run and jump. 3 of them took collapses. The other guy pounds into the ground because he doesn't even understand the basic dynamics, and that's Eric Farewell. He doesn't even have a freaking clue. He's pulling brakes on the way up, runs out of brakes and pounds into the ground, and he almost takes a collapse. So 3 out of their 4 instructors take a collapse, and the 4th guy does it wrong as well and almost takes a collapse. Compare skill against skill. I did a really nice back-to-back comparison. Naturally, they had all of their people flag the video over and over and over, trying to say I'm using copyright when I'm actually just using it for instructional purposes. But that's why this time I'm actually just going to link the videos instead of put it up, because that video got yanked. It was blatant truth showing my students doing something and showing their instructors not even able to do it, back to back, side by side. So do your research. Look skill versus skill. Either they can do it or they can't do it. There's no bashing, trashing, and lying from this side. I'm telling the truth, because your life depends on real skills. Now, why is kiting up a trailer critical? It's not about the trailer. It's not about the height of a pole. The pole could be 6 inches high. So we're not going to have an 80-year-old guy go kite up a 10-foot pole unless he makes better than master level skills. But even still, it's not about the height of the pole. It's simply a mastery of glider control skills. So why is that critical? So let me just show you with a water bottle, okay? If you see someone kiting and all their body weight is on their feet, they're doing it wrong, which is pretty much every video out there. All these guys, they're like, oh yeah, here's our students. Every single one of them, feet on the ground under them. Wrong, because you're not loading the glider. Their body has to be leaning back against the glider. Leaning. So their feet should never be under them. It should be in front of them. If you start falling backwards, you add brakes and lift yourself back up. If it's lifting you forwards, you put hands up, spill lift, and it drops you back down. Fall back, brakes, up, hands up, brake, hands up, brake, hands up, brake, hands, until you can control the lean angle of your body, give or take 1 inch. That is active piloting. That's how you prevent collapses. In the air, it is exactly the same skill. That's why it's so life and death critical. Because people talk endless trash. Oh, you don't need to kite up a trailer. You don't need to be able to do any of that. We can get you in the air in 1 day. No, because you have no ability to control the glider. Okay, so why is kiting up a trailer a critical skill for the air? Because in the air, if that glider is going to collapse, you will feel a loss of lift. Exactly like your body falling backwards. Boom, add brakes, repressurizes the glider. If the glider drops behind you, you're going to feel the pressure, your brakes go up. Whoop, hands back up. Brakes, hands up. Brakes, hands up. It is exactly the same skill, identical. Super Training is the only school in the world teaching you a mastery of active piloting so that you can prevent collapses in the air before you ever leave the ground. Also, when you're running to launch, it's kind of important that you don't lose control of the glider, because where's it going to go? In the prop. And it makes a very distinct sound when you shred your glider in the prop. So the glider control is critical. That's why the ability to kite up a wall or kite on a post or something is absolutely life and death critical, because if you can't do that, you don't have the ability to prevent collapses in the air. So if you've got Joe Jimmy Bob who isn't even teaching a skill, doesn't even have the skill, pretending to be an instructor, it's not going to work. You can't go to Utah and think you're going to have someone train you to have glider control skills, because it takes 25 to 60 hours. The only way you're going to get 25 to 60 hours of actual practice is to have 25 to 60 hours of actual wind. If you don't, then you have to run 11 miles an hour for 25 to 60 hours. Now, what's the difference between launching in wind at the beach and launching in Ohio in 0 wind? The speed your feet move. The wind is exactly the same. Aircraft don't fly in 0 airspeed. They have to have airspeed. Paragliders don't fly in 0 wind. They take about 11 mile an hour of airspeed to leave the ground. So you can either make that airspeed with your feet, or you can stand on the beach where you've got 11 mile an hour wind and you can practice all day and absolutely dial in every little detail of glider control into reflexes before you leave the ground. Now, once you go back home, sure, you can make wind because it only takes 5, 6, 7 seconds to launch. So yeah, okay, we can run for 5, 6 seconds, but I don't think you want to run for 7 hours a day making 11 mile an hour of wind, because some yo-ho didn't know enough to train you in the correct location. So you can actually tell an instructor's competency simply by the location that they train. If they're not training at the specific beaches where the wind blows pretty much all day long, they're not planning on training you. And almost none of them do, because it takes a lot of time and effort and a lot of skill and know-how to properly train someone. Super Training is literally the only school I know of teaching true glider control skills before you get in the sky so people become truly competent pilots. And this is a perfect example of why, because so many out there pretending to be instructors literally don't have even the most basic skills themselves. They can't even do what brand new super students can do. Challenge aviator PPG instructors. Challenge Blackhawk. Challenge Kirk Pfister. This isn't rocket science. Send them the video of super students and go, can you do this or can't you? Either you can or you can't. Either they send you a video and they want to deal with truth versus truth, or they're going to just talk crap. Now, once they send you a response, which most of them will not even respond to you if you try and get them to focus on facts, but if they do send a response, they're often quite hilarious. So post them in the links. When you send them a video and challenge to them to show these actual skills of actual super students, have their instructors show these skills. They're not going to. They're going to say, oh, yeah, that guy, oh, yeah, and they're just going to talk crap endlessly. And you're like, well, we don't give a crap about that. Can you do it or can't you? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, that guy, he talked, to somebody's grandma once. Can you do it or not? It's kind of hilarious when you start actually doing research, because you're going to find out real quick. Nobody wants to deal with the facts. They don't want to compete with super training because they can't. If they could, they would just post a link and show the facts. They wouldn't need to bash, trash, and lie and call me names and swear up and down and say I have to take my pills and say, I could come up with all of the names that they call me. Why do they call names? Because they got no facts. They got no way to argue or disagree with the skills and the facts. That's why they trash talk, because all they got in their head is trash. If they had facts to share and skills to show, boom, here's a video. This is my skill, that's his skill. You decide which is better. It really should be that easy. Look at the facts. Your life depends on it. Don't fall for the bull crap of people trying to twist the videos of facts into, oh, he's bashing. It's not bashing. It's your life to find proper instruction. You darn well better do your research and look at the skills and make them respond and show skill for skill. And if you can't get a response, obviously just come to super training, because I know that's what's going to happen. They're not going to want to compete with me head to head, equals for equals, truth for truth. They can't. They don't have the skills. Prove me wrong. Do the research. I challenge you. Okay. We'll see you again next time.